I am Dr. Rajkumar Deepak, Assistant Professor at Department of Medicine in GMC Betia. Today the topic for discussion is upper GI bleeding. In this session, we discussed about the cause of upper GI bleeding, how to approach a patient with upper GI bleeding, how to investigate them, and what are the management issues. So come. So first of all, what is the definition of upper GI bleeding? Upper GI bleeding is defined as bleeding derived from a source proximal to the ligament of tree, that is the duodenojejunal junction. Upper GI bleeding is 4 times as common as bleeding from lower GIT with higher incidence in male. Bleeding is self-limited in 80% of patients with upper GI hemorrhage even without a specific therapy. Of the remaining 20% who continue to bleed or re-bleed, the mortality rate is 30 to 40%. Then epidemiology. Upper GI bleeding is a common medical emergency that accounts for more than 5 lakh hospitals admissions each year, or approximately 170 patients per lakh population per year. Of the potential causes of severe upper GI bleeding, peptic ulcer is the most common, accounting for approximately 40% of the cases. Then what are the presentation of upper GI bleeding? First of all, hematemesis, that is the most important. Hematemesis means vomiting of blood. If the color of vomitus is coffee ground, that means slow rate of bleeding. If the color of vomitus is fresh or unaltered blood, that is rapid bleeding. And second presentation of the upper GI bleeding is stool, that is typical melena, black, tarry, semi-solid, shiny and foul smelling odor. It indicates that blood has been present in the GI tract for at least 14 hours. Third presentation is the hematochezia, if the bleeding is brisk. Otherwise, it is the presentation of lower GI bleeding. Then, what are the causes of upper GI bleeding? It divides into 3 parts. First is non-varicose bleeding, second is varicose bleeding, and third is uncommon causes. In the non-varicose bleeding, it accounts more than 80% of the cases of upper GI bleeding. In this group, peptic ulcer is the most important, that is 30 to 50%, malarious tear, that is 15 to 20%, gastritis or duodenitis 10 to 15%, esophagitis with hiatus hernia 5 to 10%, various tumors, AV malformation and others. Second group is the varicose bleeding. It accounts 20% of the cases of upper GI bleeding. In this group, gastroesophageal varices is the most common, that is more than 90% of the cases of the varicose bleeding. Second is the portal hypertensive gastropathy. Third is the isolated gastric varices. And third group of the causes of the upper GI bleeding is uncommon causes like hemophilia, Dolfo lesion, gastric antral vascular ectasia and aortoenteric fistula. Then come to approach. How to approach a patient come with upper GI bleeding. First of all, history and examination is the very important, as we all of know. So, if patient gives history of epigastric discomfort with history of NSAID use, it may be due to peptic ulcer disease. Then, if patient complains history of alcohol, history of jaundice and stigmata of CLD and features of portal hypertension like Palmar erythema, spider nevi, then consider it may be the varicose bleed. If patient gives history of vomiting with retching, we consider malarious tear for the cause of upper GI bleeding. If patient complains of acute abdomen with signs of peritonitis, it may be the perforation, one of the cause. If the patient gives history of recent and past aortic graft, it may be the cause of aortoenteric fistula. and vitals examination is the most important to approach and manage the patient of upper GI bleeding. Then how to diagnose a case of upper GI bleeding? Endoscopy is the most accurate test for diagnosis and treatment. More than 80% cases of upper GI bleeding is diagnosed by endoscopy. It should be performed immediately after hemodynamic stabilization. Some pictures you can see here. That is, first is the clean vest ulcer. You can see here that is the clean vest ulcer. Second is the esophageal varices. Third one is the Mallory with tear, and fourth one is the Dolfo lesion. Next, investigation includes lab diagnosis like complete blood count, blood grouping, liver function test and renal function test to exclude other diagnosis, or prothrombin time. If more than 1.5, it indicates moderate renal liver impairment. If burn to creatinine ratio is more than 36 in a patient without renal insufficiency, it's suggestive of upper GI bleeding. If furinozone level less than 100 mg per dl, it indicates that is advanced liver disease. So some classification is here to evaluate for rebleeding risk. First is the Forrest classification. In this classification, we classified into 6 groups. In this classification, you can see here, first is the 1A. It means that is arterial aspirator. It means if we found in endoscopy that is arterial aspirator, the rebleeding chance is 100%. So it needs a specific treatment of endoscopic management. Second group is 1B, that is active oozing. The chance of rebleeding is 55%. It also needs endoscopic management to avoid rebleeding. Third one is 2A, that is protuberant vessels. You can see here vessels are seen here. The rebleeding chance is 43%. In this, endoscopic management also needed. Fourth one is 2B, that is adherent blood clot. You can see here. The chance of rebleeding is 22%, and the endoscopic management also needed in this case. And the last two group, 2C and 3, that is pigmentous spot and clean vest ulcer. The chance of rebleeding is less, 5 to 10%. So in this case, endoscopic treatment not needed. So Forrest classification for endoscopic finding is important to know about the treatment plan. If the rebleeding chance is more, endoscopic management needed. Other classification or scoring for the prognosis is the Rockwell scoring for rebleeding risk. In this scoring system, we see here variables: age, comorbidity, shock, source of bleeding, stigmata of recent bleeding. That is 4 variables needed. In these variables, we score it, score 0, 1, 2, 3. If age is less than 60, score 0. 60 to 79, score is 1. More than 80, score 2. Comorbidity, if comorbidity no, nil, score 0. If patient having congestive heart failure, ischemic heart disease, score 1. If patient having renal failure, liver disease, metastatic cancer, score is 2. If patient present with shock or not, if no, score is 0. If pulse is more than 100 beats per minute, score is 1. If systolic blood pressure is less than 100 millimeter of mercury, score is 2. Source of bleeding, that is malarious tear, score 0. Any other finding except malarious tear is score 1. and score 2 if malignancy. Stigmata of recent bleeding, score 0 if none. If score 2, that adherent clot or spotting vessel, score 2. It means two variables are included by endoscopic finding. So overall, if a score is less than 3, it means it indicates good prognosis. If a score is more than 8, it is risk of death is more. So come to the management. How to manage a patient come in emergency with upper GI bleeding. First of all, what are the aim of management? First, to stabilize the patient. Second, identify the source of bleeding. Third, definitive treatment of the cause. So, how to first stabilize the patient? In this group, you assess ABC. We all of know ABC means airway, breathing, circulation. First assess, protect airway. How to protect? Keep patient kneel per oral. Keep the position of the patient on one side. Consider intubation if severe bleeding to protect from aspiration. How to restore the circulation? If patient is hemodynamically stable, like BP normal, then we start normal saline. If unstable, like low BP, tachycardia, orthostatic hypotension, give cold wire or crystal wire and continue until the blood is available. And most important thing, monitor urine output, watchful for fluid overload. Then comes to the transfusion. It is most important thing. What are the indication of transfusion in the case of upper GI bleeding? First, whole blood when you give. If massive blood loss, if hematocrit is less than 25% with active bleeding, symptoms due to low hemoglobin, and when you transfuse the platelet, if patient having active bleeding with platelet count less than 50,000. When you give fresh frozen plasma, if the prothrombin time or INR ratio is more than 1.5. Most important to remember, over transfusion may be damaging as under transfusion because the risk of upper GI bleeding increase if you over transfuse the blood. Then what are the management? Start intravenous proton pump inhibitor like omeprazole, 80 mg IV stat followed by 8 mg per hour if we consider that upper GI bleeding is due to peptic ulcer disease. Start octreotide or other vasoconstrictor agent. Octreotide is a direct splenic vasoconstrictor, is given at dose of 50 to 100 microgram per hour by continuous infusion. If consider the cause of upper GI bleeding is variceal bleed. Other agents we use in variceal bleeding is somatostatin, terlipressin, etc. Consider prophylactic antibiotic to reduce rebleeding risk. If bleeding is brisk, we go for balloon tamponade. Can be used in patients who cannot get endoscopic therapy immediately or who need stabilization prior to endoscopic therapy. What is the definitive treatment? Next is definitive management of the upper GI bleeding. If patient having esophageal varices, you go for EVL, that is endoscopic variceal ligation. It is used to control acute bleeding in over 90% of the cases. and should be repeated until obliteration of all varices is accomplished. If varicose bleeding is not controlled by endoscopic varicose ligation, we go for TIPS, that is transjugular intrahepatic portosystemic shunt. A patient having gastric varices, that the cause of bleeding is gastric varices, we give endoscopic injection of N-butyl to cyanocrylate, that is glue injection. If not controlled with that, we go for TIPS. What is the definitive measurement of peptic ulcer disease? We all know in previous slide that the rebleeding chance after the scoring system, we give injection therapy like saline, vasoconstrictor, vascularizing agent, tissue adhesive. Another is thermal therapy, that is contact thermal probe. Third is mechanical therapy. You can apply clip on the vessels. And important is the treatment of H. pylori infection to reduce the recurrence of the ulcer. What are the surgical indication of the upper GI bleeding, management of upper GI bleeding? First, if failure of medical management or endoscopic hemostasis. Second, coexisting condition like perforation, obstruction, malignancy. Third one is the needs, if needs more transfusion. Fourth one is the recurrent, if the patient of upper GI bleeding needs recurrent hospitalization, we go for surgical indication. What are the take-home message? First, upper GI bleeding is a common medical emergency. The most common cause of upper GI bleeding is peptic ulcer disease, that is 40%. Variceal bleeding having high mortality rate. Bleeding is safe limited in 80% of the patients. Endoscopy is the most accurate test for diagnosis and treatment. And over transfusion may be damaging as under transfusion. Thank you.